Amplify is back. Don't miss the chance to improve every part of your business by connecting with industry experts, hearing best practices from top dealerships, and learning how to optimize your system for profitability at every turn. You don't want to miss the Amplify experience that is designed to help your dealership improve.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Friday, June 13th, 2025. I'm Jamie Butters, Executive Editor of Automotive News in Detroit.
And I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, President Trump repeals California's gas car ban and floats higher auto tariffs. EV momentum stalls in April, and NHTSA streamlines self-driving exemption reviews. Plus, EasyCare's Corey Smith joins the show to talk about how service drives can cut stress and boost profits by rethinking their scheduling processes.
We're working with dealers to find smarter ways to level the load of the shop using data, different scheduling tools, even customer education.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry.
President Donald Trump says he may raise U.S. auto tariffs further in order to boost domestic auto manufacturing. It's a move that could further ratchet up tensions with trading partners. Trump made the remarks Thursday at a signing ceremony for legislation terminating California regulations that would have banned the sale of gasoline-powered cars in 2035. The president said raising auto tariffs from their current 25% level could offer further protection for the domestic auto industry. He cited General Motors' plan to invest $4 billion in U.S. plants over the next 2 years in order to avoid paying duties.
As the president continues to roll back policies meant to boost electric vehicle sales, EV momentum looks to be stalling or even slipping into reverse. According to S&P Global Mobility, new U.S. EV registrations fell in April for the first time in 14 months, weighed down by a sharp drop for Tesla. The 4.4% decline in April was the first year-over-year drop since February 2024. EV registrations represented a 6.6% share of the light vehicle market in April. That's a significant slide from the 7.4% share EVs had a year earlier. EV leader Tesla suffered a 16% drop in April to less than 40,000 registrations. Every Tesla vehicle lost ground in April except for its least expensive vehicle, the Model 3 sedan. The brand fell by more than 7,400 registrations, while other EVs combined for almost a 3,000 registration gain.
Meanwhile, Tesla says it has upgraded its Model S sedan and Model X crossover in the U.S., and it raised their prices by $5,000. According to Tesla's website, the price hike affects all configurations of the two models. The all-wheel drive version of Model X costs just under $90,000. Its Plaid variant is priced at about $105,000. The Model S all-wheel drive now costs $85,000, and its Plaid variant is $100,000. Improvements include a 410-mile max range on the Model S long range and a new frost blue paint color option for $2,500, according to Electrek.
And as Tesla readies its robotaxi launch later this month, federal regulators are easing the process of getting self-driving cars on U.S. roads. NHTSA says it plans to streamline reviews of requests filed by automakers seeking to deploy autonomous vehicles without required human controls like steering wheels, brake pedals, or mirrors. NHTSA has authority to grant petitions to allow up to 2,500 vehicles per manufacturer each year to operate on U.S. roads without required human controls. But the agency has spent years reviewing several exemption petitions without taking action. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said today that the exemption process has been, quote, bogging developers down in unnecessary red tape that makes it impossible to keep pace with the latest technologies. Tesla tentatively plans to begin offering rides on its self-driving robotaxis to the public on June 22nd. But those vehicles, modified Model Y crossovers, have required human controls. And those are today's headlines. So, Jamie, NHTSA is streamlining self-driving exemption reviews. Why did NHTSA decide to simplify and speed up self-driving car reviews? And how might these changes affect public trust in autonomous vehicle safety?
Some of it is the traditional, Republicans tend to be deregulatory. They see the Democrats as being, overly controlling and restrictive with federal policy or any policy. So they want to allow maximum freedom and let companies, do their own thing, take their own chances and take the responsibility for it. I think, the risk, though, is that if there's a bad accident, if somebody gets killed or multiple people get killed, it's not just going to be bad for the company that has that happen to them. It could also set back the whole industry and, trust in the government to keep the roads safe. So, these are the trade-offs. I think, though, in this case, most of these things, if there's not going to be a human driving the car, you don't really need a mirror for the non-existent driver to be checking out what's behind them. You're going to have a camera or some other system that's already built in, and that will do the job.
Gotcha. Coming up, Corey Smith of EasyCare talks about how service drives are getting in their own way with their scheduling practices. That's next on Daily Drive.
The 2025 Automotive Golf Classic is coming up soon, raising funds for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan. Players will tee off Monday, June 16th at St. John's Resort in Plymouth, Michigan.
Attendees will get exclusive access to the third annual Automotive News Supplier Panel discussion just prior to tee time at 9 a.m. This year's remarks will feature Paul Thomas, president of Bosch North America, along with Colin Shaw, president of MEMA Original Equipment Suppliers. The executive guests will discuss challenges for suppliers stemming from the current trade landscape, new U.S. tariffs, and other critical issues facing the supply chain.
For more information about this event, reach out to Tiffany Sula at the Boys and Girls Clubs at tsula@bgcsm.org or to Philip Nussel, AGC Executive Chairman at pnussel@crane.com.
Amplify 2025 is right around the corner. Are you ready? Join the industry's leading innovators this August 18th and 19th at the Ritz-Carlton Dallas Las Colinas and be part of the event that will reshape retail automotive. At this 2-day experience, you'll explore new strategies and fresh ideas for driving real growth at your dealership. Choose from 9 hands-on workshops, each designed to deliver practical insights across every department. Gain forward-thinking perspectives during our expert-led keynote session and leave with actionable takeaways to implement right away. And it's not all business. Amplify also gives you the chance to connect with fellow professionals on the greens at TPC Las Colinas, the iconic course that hosted the PGA Tour's Byron Nelson Championship for 35 years. Secure your spot at Amplify 2025 today by visiting rayray.com/amplify. That's rey.com/amplify today.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Jamie Butters with Kellen Walker. Technician shortages, increased costs, and customers shifting to independent repair shops because of price are just some of the obstacles dealership service departments are looking to overcome. Corey Smith is National Fixed Ops Training Director at EasyCare. He spoke with Automotive News Senior Retail Editor Dan Shine about what solutions service leaders are using to win back customers.
Corey, great to have you back again on the Fixed Ops Friday edition of Daily Drive.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, Dan. This is awesome.
So thank you. So I want to dive in a little bit about 2025. You're on the road. Seems like just about every week you're at a new dealership, service department, doing training, kind of hearing, getting feedback. Kind of what are the takeaways that you're hearing from when you're out on the road? What are dealership service departments thinking about? What do they want to improve on? What are some of the challenges that they're facing that they need your help with?
I think the biggest things that we're hearing is obviously technicians, scheduling. So, where I sit as the National Fixed Operations Training Director at EasyCare, I spend a lot of time, like you said, at dealership service departments across the country. And the picture that I'm seeing as we move into 2025 is both challenging, but also full of opportunity. Scheduling gaps, workload imbalancing. What I mean by that is that one of the biggest day-to-day challenges I'm hearing is around scheduling. Most service drives are slammed in the morning and nearly dead by the afternoon. So the imbalance is causing unnecessary stress on the team and inefficiencies of using the correct resources. So advisors are scrambling early on, and then they're trying to really work on their time towards the end of the day. So we're working with dealers to find smarter ways to level the load of the shop using data, different scheduling tools, even customer education on drop-off times, maybe going to pick it up, right? The technician shortage is huge, right? It hasn't gotten any better, and technician shortage is really hitting in the wrong direction. It's real, it's impactful. Shops are operating between 60 and 70% of what they should be, especially with a full staff. And with EVs and advanced vehicle technology entering the mix, they're in need of well-trained technicians is growing more and more every day. Some stores are getting creative with apprentices programs and in-house training, but it's still an uphill climb.
You kind of mentioned a little bit, but so we talk about scheduling and this kind of trying to balance that flow out throughout the whole day. Is pickup and delivery, is mobile service, are kind of a couple of options away from also some scheduling applications and software that could help smooth things out a little bit as well?
A little bit, but the challenge is your bigger dealers are embracing it, and they have the money to spread it out over X amount of dealerships. But if you've got a mom and pop, like one or two stores, it's really expensive to get that off the ground. So what we do with those smaller ones is we recommend, picking up the customer's vehicle, bringing it to the shop, leaving them a loaner vehicle if they can, or shuttling them around. So the customer's a little bit easier to say, yeah, I can let you have it at 2:00 if you can come pick it up, right?
Do you hear much talk about tariffs when you're out at the dealership? Has that reared its ugly head as far as parts prices? Or I know, I've talked to someone, might have been, a few weeks ago, and they now on there, if you come in, you get an estimate, they put on there that, this is not a 30-day estimate anymore. It's, the prices may change tomorrow. So are you hearing concerns out there on the road?
Yeah, the tariffs and the cost pressures are huge, right? With the new tariffs, 25% on imported vehicle and parts, costs are going up across the board. That's affecting parts margins, insurance rates, right, for body shops. Ultimately, the customer satisfaction. It's making every repair more expensive, and advisors have to be sharp with communication and maintaining that trust. We're encouraging dealers to be proactive about explaining the pricing, just like you talked about, and offering value added services to soften that blow. Maybe they extend the warranty. So we have a couple dealers that normally this part is not under a factory warranty, is 90 days. We're going to extend that because we know it's more money than you're used to paying. We're going to extend that for 12/12, right? So that makes the customer feel like they're getting a more bang for their buck, if you will.
What are some of the things that, as we start getting into summer and then into the rest of 2025, that dealership service departments need to be focused on, as far as when it comes to the customer and that whole experience?
I think, if you look at the data, the customers are keeping their vehicles longer. The average, I think, is close to 13 years now.
Yeah, I think I just saw I think 12.8 is
Yeah.
what they were reporting. Yeah, 12 years, 8 months.
So your post-warranty defection is more important than ever, right? So another quiet challenge is retention after the warranty expires. A lot of customers bolt to independence because they perceive dealership services as overpriced or inconvenient. We're coaching advisors to shift that perspective, right, and become consulting the customer, offering prepaid maintenances, promoting what makes a dealership great, offering services like batteries, tires, alignments to keep the customer keep coming back, right? That's a huge thing right now, especially with the customers keeping that vehicle longer. You want that vehicle longer, and the average customer is spending over $700 every time they come in to maintain that vehicle because they want to keep it longer.
Right. There's great opportunity out there. Like you said, there's the older vehicles. They're going to need to be maintained, and the people want to invest in them because they don't want to buy a new car. They can't afford it. Even the used cars are getting more expensive. Prices keep going up for those. So there's this great opportunity for service departments. Like you said, after the 3-year warranty is up, many of them defect to an independent. How do dealerships get these people back after they've left and maybe they haven't been to the dealership in 3 years? Can you pull them back in?
You can try a million different ways, different things to do. One things that we're seeing that works really, really well is having some kind of a campaign within the community to show that you care and interact with that customer, whether it's a free multi-point inspection on a wash just for coming, right? To get them back into the fold, allowing that customer to see what has changed with the dealership, good or bad or indifferent, right? They're interacting with you again. Enticing that customer to come back, offering them something that they would normally not get from the independent shop, right? So is it, hey, we'll come right to your house and give you a free oil change, right? That's something that could wow the customer. Come into our dealership and we'll do a multi-point, we'll video it and we'll show you everything and we'll wash your vehicle when we're done, no strings attached, right? And then wowing that customer. Those are some things that we've seen that work really, really well. And obviously being in part of that community, whether it's sponsoring something like a parade or a baseball team or something like that, gets you in front of more and more customers.
Yeah. And there's just, like you said, there's this perception out there. You're more costly than the guy down the road. So, pricing transparency, I think, would probably be a good help as well. And again, we always kind of talk about it, and I'm sure you talk about it too, telling, we have factory trained technicians. These are certified, master certified technicians. They know your car better than, Mr. Goodwrench or whoever is down the street.
And you're starting to see a lot of dealerships, especially on LinkedIn, that are interviewing their technicians and asking them questions and putting it on a video so those customers can see that on social media. I think that's huge. I love that.
Yeah, right. There's again, just another way to get your dealership out in front of more eyeballs and have them reconsider coming to see you again. Corey, always great to chat with you, and really appreciate you coming on. Be safe on the road out there, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Corey Smith is National Fixed Ops Training Director at EasyCare. He spoke with our own Dan Shine. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Jamie Butters.
And I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to Automotive News executive producer Jake Neer, as well as our own Lawrence Iliff for his reporting for today's podcast. You can get the latest news on service and parts, auto tariffs, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com.
Come back over the weekend for my conversation with our own Dan Shine about the top 100 dealership groups based on service and parts revenue.
It's the engine that drives the dealership. If your service and parts is not profitable, your dealership is not profitable.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoy the podcast, remember to leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.